What is up, everybody? This is Cedric, and we're back on Black Ops 6, unfortunately, because I wish I was playing Battlefield 6. I have to be honest though, I didn't really play the beta that much this weekend, but that's only because I was playing other games. But I wanted to play Sunday, the last day of the beta, and unfortunately I did not know that it was ending earlier on Sunday than I thought. Usually, at least for Call of Duty betas, would usually last until like early Monday, but in this case it wasn't like that. It just ended on Sunday. It's coming back up on this next weekend, but I wish this video was on Battlefield instead of Call of Duty, and not because I hate Call of Duty. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just that I really wanted to play a little bit more before it ended, but didn't really get the chance. Had a bunch of other stuff to do as well. But I was thinking this whole weekend about the previous video I made about if Battlefield 6 could actually kill Call of Duty. There's some things that I said in that video that I think probably did not really explain how I really feel about the whole thing, because I was saying Battlefield 6 and Battlefield in general and Call of Duty can't really compete because they're very different games, but that's technically not true. They do compete in a way, and I think I sort of mentioned this, but they do compete because they're FPS, first-person shooters. If they were not, then yeah, definitely they wouldn't compete. They wouldn't compete for the same audience. But in reality, the more I thought about it, if you're a gaming company, you really are competing against anybody else that's making games, because there's a very slight amount of players that don't really bleed into other demographics. For example, there's not everybody that plays The Last of Us, for example, they plays Call of Duty. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of players that play The Last of Us that also play Call of Duty, right? So at the end of the day, as a gaming company, you do compete against other gaming companies or other games, right? So Call of Duty, regardless of the game being different to other games, they still technically compete, right? So it was technically a little bit of a lie, technically untrue. Okay, I forgot I had that. Okay. Also, looking at the numbers that Battlefield was pulling, I'm pretty sure that did cause a little bit of at least a commotion for Call of Duty execs, because seeing that many people play a game that's usually put in the same sort of category as your game can definitely be a little worrisome. And I did mention on the previous video that I was sure it was gonna at least worry them a little bit, and that they were probably preparing for that as well. Like I was studying business administration. I switched my major basically, but at the time I was studying that, it makes sense to as a either CEO or just anybody running a company to prepare for like different scenarios. So it makes sense that, or at least for me, that they would know what the worst outcome would be, and one of them is, or the worst outcomes that they could possibly have, is that Battlefield 6 pulls the numbers that it did, and what? Oh, he's got a okay, and that ends up affecting the sales that they have. Come on, dude. The sales that they have for Black Ops 7. Okay, dude. Why do people do that so much? Okay. ADS is fucking trash on this, dude. What did they do to my gun? So, of course, to me, it makes sense that they would prepare for that kind of thing, where they take into account that Battlefield 6 could actually do really well and end up affecting the sales that they have. I mean, I'm not saying that it's gonna kill it. Still, it's probably not. Enemy UAV inbound. Okay, that's kind of messed up of me to do, but it will probably affect it. And given the reaction that people had to Battlefield 6 and how people are feeling, it's probably gonna do something to Call of Duty. Like, it's gonna have them try a little harder, and that's a good thing. I'm hoping that they attempt to make better games, because that ends up benefiting everybody as a whole. Okay, but yeah, looking at the numbers, it was kind of crazy to see 500,000 players on Battlefield 6. It was crazy, dude. And given the fact that they're still like pretty much doing a very solid Battlefield game, it's not like they're catering to like I'm sure there's probably like a few mechanics that they have that they added that that probably cater a little to the Call of Duty community, but not everything. Like, there's always like a little bit of a bleed as far as like mechanics go, because they're FPS games, so it makes sense that they would have similar things, and not necessarily that they're actively trying to make it so that it's appealing to Call of Duty players. The appeal, at least the way I see it, is more because people are kind of burnt out from playing Call of Duty so much that a lot of people wanted something different to, like, I don't know, palette cleanse or something. And that's why there's a lot of people playing it. Now, I've seen that a lot of Call of Duty players, and at least as far as content creators go, they want like certain features and mechanics to be added that are more of a Call of Duty thing, and I don't think I necessarily agree with wanting those kinds of changes, but I don't have any specifics in mind as far as that goes. But I've seen people complain about the Call of Duty mentality. What I do find kind of funny is how people are blaming the Call of Duty players for being bad medics. And as far as I remember, in like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield, I can't really remember Battlefield 3 if I saw that many medics. But at least Battlefield 4, I would see a lot of people just not res anybody. Sometimes I would find it like really fun to just focus on reviving people. It was really fun. And then also killing players. I think you could kill players with the defibrillators. Wait, what is it? Defibrillators? Yeah, with the thing that you can use to revive people. I can't remember the exact name. Defibrillator or something like that. So yeah, it was kind of fun to do that, and I would see a lot of players not revive people, and not necessarily them being Call of Duty players. It's just something that always happened anyway. Maybe there's a lot more because there was a lot more new players now that probably don't know that you can do that as a medic or as a support player. So it makes sense that, and given the numbers, like there was 500,000 players. Of course, let's say that when Battlefield 4 was around, there was probably like, I don't know, let's say 300,000 players. Of course, the amount of medics would be reduced, right? There would be less players being part of that role, and that would make sense that you didn't see as many people not res. And now you have a lot more players, so 500,000, that increases that amount of people that have that role. And of course, that also increases the amount of people that don't res. So it's funny to see people blame the Call of Duty players, but it happens. I'm not saying that it's not the case. There's probably a lot of Call of Duty players that are not doing that. And I've also seen clips of people playing like really abusing the movement a little. But I mean, if it's part of the game, I can't really complain. Maybe it's not something that's really Battlefield, but they have to make changes in a way. They can't just basically copy and paste the previous game and then just call it a day. I'm sure some people would like that, probably. Like someone would like having a Battlefield 4 remade and just call it Battlefield 7 and it's just Battlefield 4 with the same maps and everything. But it would probably burn people out a lot faster than a completely new game. So there's gotta be some changes. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. People always complain about changes, and then when they don't make a change, they complain that there's not enough changes. So it's just something that's necessary. It's always, in anything in life really, there's always some change needed. Nothing's perfect if it just stays the same. It's like, imagine if you had the same mentality that you had as a kid, now being an older person. I mean, if you're still a kid, then that doesn't apply to you. But given the fact that I'm pretty sure there's someone that's older than they were before, you don't have the same mentality. Maybe you don't find the same things funny anymore. So imagine hearing the same joke that you heard for like 10 years in your life. I don't think you would find it as funny. Of course, you probably still find it funny, but not as much, right? So it's the same thing. Games will need change. They will need new mechanics. They will need new features so that they stay entertaining for a while. So I do find it a little annoying when people do that and complain that they added new things. Like, sure, maybe something new that they added doesn't work for the game, and that's completely valid. That's a valid complaint. But saying they shouldn't have added a change, and it just seems dumb to me to say that. Again, I find it completely valid to complain about a change if it affects the gameplay in a negative way. But if you complain about just a change being added or made, then that's just, oh my god, that was awful. That just doesn't make sense. Because then if you want something to be the same as before, just play that old game. And I think I mentioned this in another video that I made a while back, that people complain a lot about like wanting things to be the same, or talk about wanting things to be the same, and they could just play that same old game. Of course, there's certain scenarios where I understand it's not easy to actually play older games, because for example, Call of Duty is not safe to play now, at least on PC, and I think even on consoles. So it makes sense that people would want something similar, but you gotta be real. There's no way they're just gonna copy and paste the same game. I mean, they could, but that would also bring like a lot of people complaining about the game being exactly the same and then just copying and pasting. Just the open beta for Battlefield 6 got me thinking about a lot of things. Like how is Call of Duty gonna try and retain the players that might bleed out to play Battlefield 6? I think I saw just one tweet of someone saying that some players were using Battlefield as a temporary fix. Just a temporary fix so that when the new Call of Duty comes out, and if it's good, then they'll just go back. And that's completely fine. Like, just because you play Battlefield 6 once and you like it doesn't mean that you're just gonna switch over. I mean, of course, you probably still like Call of Duty. It's like any other game. Like, if you really like a game and for whatever reason it's just not doing so great from your perspective, you can play other games. It's not that you have to like stick to one game and that's it. That makes no sense. But then the thing that does not make sense to me is knowing that you're gonna switch back and then still pushing to have changes made so that the game caters more to what you want. Ah, come on, that could have been great. Again, I sort of digress, but I do find it crazy how many people were playing the Battlefield 6 beta, and how that's got people really excited. And I'm glad people like actual Battlefield fans are happy that the game it's actually good, and I'm glad they're getting a good game. I mean, I'm a Battlefield fan myself, but like I don't play it as much as other people, so I don't know how much of a fan I can actually consider myself. I've always liked it. Oh wow, that looked a little weird. Ugh, I'm scared. I knew it. Yeah, it just gets me thinking, like, how are other people gonna react to it? Because like the only one that's like directly sort of affected by Battlefield doing well is just Call of Duty, because there's not that many other FPS that are at that level of like AAA, like Battlefield and Call of Duty. There's other FPS games. I'm not saying that there isn't any FPS games out there, but like being at that level, I think Call of Duty is really the only one that's gonna be like mainly affected. And just like on the previous video, that's what I was thinking too, because I was thinking it's not really gonna do much to Call of Duty, like even if it does great, but like given the numbers that it was doing and that it was pulling all weekend, now I'm thinking, yeah, it can do some damage, but still to the point to kill it, I really don't think so, because like Battlefield is good and everything, and it can be great, but I don't really think one game can kill another. But I may be wrong. I don't know. That's just the way I think. I'm up to debate on that one. Oh wow, wow, that's crazy. And yeah, I was thinking of making a video playing Battlefield 6, and that's why I was on my intro. I was like, unfortunately, I'm on this game. I realized that the beta was already over. And I mean, it happens. That's what I get for not really looking into like times and when the beta was gonna be available and when it was gonna be over. Oh wow. Oh wow. Sorry. Okay. I tried something and it didn't really work. I think I mentioned that I don't really mind the crazy looking skins, and I really don't mind them. Like most of them are just like whatever. But looking at like, for example, this here, the American Dad one, it looks so fucking weird, dude. And I'm not saying that I'm changing my mind about liking them or not liking them. Well, not really liking them. I don't mind them. I don't buy them. Well, like, I don't really care that they're there. But that one does look fucking weird. I can't deny it. Because, like, there's a certain art style that Call of Duty has. And I think having the cartoon-looking skins makes it look off. Because, like, for example, if you look at this guy here, it looks weird. But, like, still sort of... I don't want to say believable, but because Call of Duty has never been about being believable and like realistic and things like that, but like you can still see it as like it makes sort of sense. Like it looks a little bit like it's part of the game. It doesn't look as like something out of the ordinary. But looking at something cartoonish like the Beavis and Butthead skins or the American Dad ones, it's just it looks so off. But they're not going away, so no matter how much we complain about it, it's just gonna stay there. That's why I don't really mind them. And there's like a few decent skins that they have. But that's all I have for today. I don't know if what I said makes sense. I think Battlefield 6 will definitely make a shift in Activision's headquarters and make them try a little harder to like really please the community so that they don't have that many people leave. But I don't think it's gonna perform any that bad. I'm really interested to see how they're gonna perform when the actual game comes out, because I think Black Ops 7 is coming out like probably November, something like that, late October maybe. And Battlefield 6, when is it coming out? And Battlefield 6 is supposed to be coming out. It's supposed to be coming out on October 10th. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how they perform, who's gonna be like the best-selling one. But I think Battlefield 6, if you know, given how much they're listening to the community, because they're actually making changes based on what the community wants, how well the game is perceived and has been received, you know, given the numbers that they pulled on the beta, I think it might be the best-selling game this year. But who knows? I don't know what kind of trickery Black Ops or Activision is going to be pulling in Microsoft, but I'm sure it's going to be an interesting race there. But let me know what you think. I would like to have that discussion with you in the comments. And remember, if you like these type of videos, please consider leaving a like, subscribe if you're not. We are sitting at 6 subscribers right now, which is kind of crazy to say because I was not expecting to go over 5. But I do appreciate you watching. I hope that you take care, that you drink some water, that you tell your mom you love her, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.